Well, it's arrived. The annual Medicare Advantage and prescription drug plan enrollment period, it's upon us. So if you have Medicare and you might be looking at your plan options for 2019, or you might be helping a friend or family member find the option that's best for them, Steve Stedman is here from Humana. He's here to share some valuable information and some changes that are coming about choosing your 2019 Medicare Advantage plan. It's good to see you.
Good morning. Great to be back.
I'm so glad when you come on, because you kind of dispel some of the myths and take some of the it's this confusion out of it. So let's talk about some of the frequently asked questions that you get from people. A lot of people wonder, if they're already in a Medicare plan, do they need to re-enroll every single year?
So if they're just in Medicare, you don't have to re-enroll in Medicare per se, right? You're already enrolled in your Part A and Part B. But when it comes to a Medicare plan, again, it's the annual election period. So right now, those folks on Medicare are busy looking at different options. They're going to either maybe stay where they are. If that plan's working and everything is great, they can just roll right into it for 2019, or they've decided to make some changes. They're going to elect a different plan and get that all set up, typically for a 1/1/19 start date.
Okay, what's the deadline?
So the annual election period runs from October 15th through December 7th.
Okay.
So again, we always like to make sure people remember December 7th is the magic day. You got to be done and have selected your either, again, rolling over or the new plan to be ready to go for January 1st.
Okay, what if you miss the deadline?
Not good necessarily.
Okay, so make a note, circle that down on your calendar.
Not the worst thing, but again, sometimes people get busy with the holidays and they just miss it. Right. So what that means is, let's say you're in a Medicare Advantage plan and you somehow missed it. What that means is you're just going to roll into that same plan come January 1st. You'll just roll right over.
Okay, the only thing if it's a problem is if you don't have a plan at all.
Yes, that would be a big problem.
How do you decide which Medicare plan is right for you?
Well, that's a great question, Terry. I think you really start with, how did things go this year? Like, what were my situations this year? Well, did I have a hospitalization? Was everything going pretty well? How did if I'm doing prescriptions, how did those work? So you really want to take a look at how did it go this year. And then based on that, I think you then look at your options and say, okay, how are we going to do next year? It could be anything from, everything worked great this year, have my providers, I'm happy with the cost for my drugs. I'm great, I'm just going to stay here and roll right over. Or maybe it's like, I had a couple things go on. Let me look at a couple different options. Maybe there's some lower copay somewhere. Just look at those costs and then kind of determine, I think I'll go this way for 2019.
Okay, so here's what's interesting. Because it is kind of confusing, and maybe you might have had some life changes go on through the year.
Happens all the time.
You always recommend sitting down with someone. There are certified agents that can really kind of help you sort things out.
Right, so all of us in the Medicare space that sell like the Medicare Advantage plans and PDPs, prescription drug plans, we all have to do annual recertifications. We take a national test, and then each carrier is going to have different requirements or a test you're going to take. Again, a lot of changes go on in this industry all the time. So it's really important that you're sitting down with someone that's experienced in the business and can really, again, zero in on what does Terry need? What is going to be important to you? Let's dive in and talk about those things and make that decision together.
Let's talk about one very important change. And I don't want to say it's a change, it's something new that is happening. So if you decide on your Medicare plan and December 7th comes and goes, there's a new option. Right, there is a new option. It's a new old option.
A new old option. It's called the open enrollment period. It used to be here and then it went away for a while, and this year Medicare's brought it back starting January 1st of next year. So if for any reason, let's say you selected a new plan and you get into the middle of January and you're like, oh, I don't know if I really did the right thing. You have one option during this open enrollment period from January 1st through March 31st to make one change. And that's huge. So relax if you decide. Don't lose sleep over it, right? Like I do. Okay. All right, Steve, thank you so much. If you're interested in learning more about Humana's Medicare Advantage plans, here's one number that you can call. It's 1-800-552-0771. They're 7 days a week from 8 in the morning until 8 at night. Or you can visit humana.com/Medicare.